Ah, you poor people of YouTube. Yes, I mean the people watching this video. Yes, nothing else to click on. Sorry. So you'll have to resort to another one of these videos. Oh no, that rambling guy. Walking and talking and rambling. Oh my. Anyway, since you're here and I'm here, I will talk. That's what I'll do, yes. I'll fill the whole video full of me talking. Yay! And other such nonsense that I can acquire to throw into the video. But anyway, conference report guy. He said a couple of things in his video, and I was like all inspired when I heard them. And I said, ooh, yeah, I'll comment on that. And then I said later, ooh. I can't make anything out of that. But anyway, I'm going to anyway, since I'm here and you're here. And this is what we do in the evenings. We stroll together through the lovely park. And yes, I talk and you listen. I like this arrangement very much. Anyway, to the subject matter. So he said something about how it feels, how feelings feel. And it sort of got me to that analog thing. As we started talking about feelings being this, wavy type thing, not a hard digital thing. And then he talked about dominoes. So those are two good kind of metaphors to work with. So I've done the analog thing before, and analog just means like, something that's not all on or all off kind of thing. Digital is little spikes on off, choppy little boxes, and analog would be the sine wave, loopy, kind of an infinite edge to it. So that got me thinking also, he said the word feedback in there somewhere, and that's sort of the concept, is that you have this feedback system, and it's kind of analog. And when you put those two words together, I mean, if you Google that, you'll get like videos of noise, horrible, awful noise. And so, this is just complete conjecture. I'm thinking that maybe that's something to do with why, how nature fell upon the accident of a negative sensation. That it might be just what happens when you accelerate, when you feedback into a nerve, back onto itself. And it goes to whatever its definition of affinity is. But that's what happens. Like if I turn this camera somehow magically around and videotaping me, there would be an infinite problem. The camera would keep trying to catch its own image. But it doesn't matter visually. So I mean, the old TV days, you could get a nice strobe effect that way. Because the thing would just break down, and it would just wipe out the signal because we don't know what the hell to do. And so it would do stroby things and weird. You could get really bizarre patterns, and you could really screw with the electron gun even. I mean, you could get some really psychedelic crap happening. So anyway, I'm just trying to get to the point that, like our mechanical hardware is vulnerable to this infinite feedback problem. Maybe we are as biological organisms, and that's sort of the mechanism of sensation. It might be these heightened touchy-feely thingies might be a consequence somehow of what happens to the biological nervous system when there's too much feedback. And it goes into that, whatever you call that, when the sound gets obnoxious. There's a word for that, but I can't think of it. My brain is getting old. And that's a whole other subject. Is even determinisms kind of demonstrate so much in how we rot, how we decompose. So visible there too. Visible in how we learn, and it's visible in how we deteriorate. So anyway, I just think it's a concept. As a concept, it's worth having bouncing around in the brain. Is this idea to work with in psychology, in what goes on in our brain. So it does have this digital thing. A synapse is a very digital thing. It's a little shot of electricity. They're either on or off. Bango bingo. And but what we're doing actively as we live seems very analog. It seems very noisy, very mushy, very soft. Very soft, I mean, in terms of its, there's lots of gradation, lots of subtle color variations. It's very hard to see the digital in the world as we live in it. It has a ton of ambiguity, as Professor Anton would say, and subtlety. But underlying it all, that's what I wanted to get to, is with the dominoes example. I thought that was a good example. It's another good metaphor, and it does for the determinism thing in a way, because even if there were variations in each domino, even if each one was imbalanced here, a little tilted there, a little fucked up, a little heavier, a little lighter, there's tolerances for it functioning. And functioning is pretty much just described in the domino metaphor as knocking the other guy down, transferring what knocked you down to the other guy, and keeping the domino effect, maintaining it, doing your part. And so then you can have the domino effect. You can put 1,000,000 dominoes down on the ground here, hit one and do all kinds of pretty designs, and that effect isn't going to be bothered by a few random variations. Random, in keywords I would say, but variations nonetheless. Let's just say any defects, random or not random, caused knowingly or with understanding and knowledge, or caused without knowing or understanding or knowledge, however we want to describe this crap. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. It has no effect on what will take place, as long as something can't, as long as the defect, the change, the alteration from the norm or the probability isn't outside of some realm, some range. So as long as it stays within this range of functionality, it will appear, it will function identically to a scenario of dominoes that were perfectly structured and perfectly weighted and perfectly balanced and perfectly perfect. And that's sort of like our brain. You're not going to fuck it up with a misshapen domino. A quantum synapse, whatever, is not going to do anything. It's just not. It's not. The system is made to be invulnerable to it. The dominoes are big enough. And then that's not even getting into all the fail-safe systems that would be built into it, all the error checking that 2 billion years is going to create in a system. So, and the fact that we, as psychologies, are determined, I don't think can be rationally argued. And I think it's a very thin argument that you can take the material world apart and find anything spontaneous or random in it. I mean, purely random. And all they're leaning on to create that impression is this two-slit crap and a few other strange results in experiments on the tiniest particles in the universe, which really, I mean, that's a serious flaw in saying something is. You really have to be very careful in saying something is because of an experiment you do on something you can't see with the strongest, most powerful microscope in the universe. It's just, you got to be a little careful in what kind of conclusions you draw. And I don't think they've been careful at all. And they've been very willing to step way beyond the Occam razor kind of go with the simple answer until you have a complex answer that can validate itself. So until that complex, phantasmagorical, photons are in 5 dimensions at once bullshit is substantiated in some other way, I think it's just nonsense. And substantiated doesn't mean you create a mathematical system that uses an illusion, a non-reality, to make it possible to realize, understand probabilities. I mean, that's completely different. Understanding what might happen is a lot different than knowing how it's happening. And so you can have a description of what happens. You can create that description through different means than you'll use to describe what exactly is happening. You can you can have a crime scene, and you can draw conclusions. There's an alcohol bottle and a bloody knife, and you can add those up into things, and that's perfectly valid. But it's not the same as rewinding it, or having a videotape, or, there's a better way to say it. Just saying there's very different approaches to achieving an understanding. And quantum math does not, I'm going to say it again, it's air math. And through just acknowledging, putting a number in the equation, even though it's a fuzzy number, it allows you to do math you couldn't do unless you created that fuzzy number. So, yeah. Well, anyway, didn't want to get on that subject. And so the video's over anyway, so I didn't really get on it too seriously. But anyway, the idea of digital and analog and how that kind of concept affects human psychology, I think, is an interesting subject. And I think, when properly analyzed, it will only add more credibility to the overall argument that we are built by the universe, not ourselves. And that's just the way it is. You're a byproduct, and you is I wouldn't even argue you're a you. You're a combination of yous, different little agendas, different wills, flying around in the same little brain, that compete with each other and conjure up a little game they play, and then they produce a result like, oh yes, I walked to this place where I must do some minor labor. Yeah, that's how it works, and I will myself to do it. Why? I don't know. I guess it's something. Don't pay very well, but gotta make ends meet and all that shit. So anyway, till the next time and such. Yeah. Happy trails, whatever. Blah 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 blah.